We are first introduced to Staz, a vampire living in the demon world. He's the boss of his territory in hell. He is an otaku, obsessed with human culture, but more specifically, Japanese culture. Soon after, his head enforcer Deku calls to tell him that a young woman, Fuyumi, has wandered into the demon world, into Staz's territory. Instead of killing her, as Deku suggests, Staz eagerly has Fuyumi brought to his room. He instantly feels what he calls attraction to her. Not only the romantic liking of her, but his vampiristic instinct to suck her blood. While this is happening, a man is gathering a crowd advertising his business to sell large plant-like creatures. Although, Deku quickly picks out the man and tells him he needs to have permission to do business in Staz's territory. However, the plant seller's true intentions are to battle Staz for control of his territory. Staz is alerted of this by Deku, and after much urging from Fuyumi, he goes down and easily defeats the plant seller. However, while this had happened, one of the murderous plants came up to Staz's room, where Fuyumi was, and he ate and killed her. When Deku and Staz return to find her in this state, Staz no longer feels attraction to Fuyumi. He then vows to bring her back to life, even though he does not yet know how to go about this. Fuyumi then remembers how she arrived in the demon world, through a portal between the human world and the demon world called the Black Curtain. The appearance of this black curtain is very strange because it's only supposed to have closed once its owner had successfully traveled through it. Staz then decides he wishes to go to the human world along with Fuyumi. They then travel to see Mame and Sati in the Cafe Third Eye. When there, Staz asks the owner of the shop, Mame and Sati, what they should do about the human world. After Mame and Sati use their combined third eye to analyze the situation they're in, they tell Staz that though Fuyumi's existence is unstable, she should be fine. While there, Deku comes and introduces Mimic Yoshida to Staz, who wishes to join Staz's gang. Yoshida is, as the name implies, a mimic who can transform his appearance into whomever he wants. When Staz and the others get into a predicament about how Staz will remain the territory boss if he travels with Fuyumi, they realize Yoshida is able to take Staz's place. With this, it seems that the preparations for traveling to the human world are complete. Fuyumi and Staz go to check out what Fuyumi says she traveled through, the Black Curtain. Though Staz is shocked by this, he quickly decides he will go with Fuyumi to the human world. After passing through the curtain, they are transported into Fuyumi's room in the human world. Soon after, Staz decides he wants to leave, and on the way out of her house, they run into Fuyumi's father, Yanagi. Yanagi quickly questions where Fuyumi has been since she'd been gone missing, and why she returned with the boy of all things. To avoid further confusion, Staz sprays Yanagi with his saliva, which has vampiric magic inside. By doing this, he's able to control the person without actually biting them. Because of this, Yanagi quickly dismisses Staz's appearance and welcomes them both home. At the same time, a mysterious person also travels into Fuyumi's room through the Black Curtain. Afterwards, Fuyumi and Staz arrive in Fuyumi's high school. After a little time there, Fuyumi begins to realize her situation as a ghost. When she speaks to her friends, their memories begin to clash, and soon she is noticed less and less. As the weight of the situation begins to affect her, Staz returns to her and points out that she is starting to disappear in this world. Her legs and arms begin to fade, and she is literally disappearing. In order to keep her safe, Staz allows Fuyumi to take some of his magic by having her drink a drop of his blood. He again vows to always keep her safe. Though the magic is initially too powerful, Fuyumi quickly turns back into her normal ghost self. Soon afterwards, Staz decides it's time to return to the demon world, so that he regains enough energy to later travel to Akihabara. Staz then questions the whereabouts of Fuyumi's mother, and we learn that she does not know. As they return to Fuyumi's room, they are met by Belle Hydra Belle, a treasure hunter and sorceress of spatial magic. She introduces herself and explains that she knows the mimic Yoshida is replacing Staz in the demon world, since she is able to see any part of space as long as a frame is created to look through. Belle tells the two that she is the owner of the Black Curtain, and she is trying to figure out the mystery of what left her curtain open even after she put it away properly. Belle then decides that Fuyumi and Staz must pay a fine for using her curtain, and she decides a total of 60 million yen. However, the two obviously think that's ridiculous, so Belle quickly punishes them by transporting Staz to a random street in the human world, while Belle hangs onto Fuyumi and threatens to kidnap her if Staz did not retrieve a certain item for her. Staz then travels down to the store, Oniglo, and meets the store owner. Because Belle only told him he would know the item when he gets there. Staz questions the store owner and is quickly led to a special room. To Staz's surprise, the prized item is a pair of ogre undies, and he must battle the store owner in order to get them. In the meantime, Belle is explaining to Fuyumi that the curtain she put up is no longer hers and that it was stolen from her by someone very powerful. Because of this, she is not able to put the curtain away and is instead looking for the person who did it. This is why she made Staz fight the store owner, to see just how powerful he is. Back in Uniqlo, Staz quickly and easily defeats the store owner and shows Belle that he is very strong. However, she knows after an explanation by Fuyumi that he did not steal the curtain. However, she does know of something that may help Fuyumi return to life. She mentions the Book of Human Resurrection and says that it is in Wolf's territory, an old enemy/friend of Staz. The three then decide to go and retrieve it. Staz and the crew decide they must travel to the western part of Hell in order to retrieve the Book of Human Resurrection. They must go here because Baru, said Wolf, the boss of the Western Territory, is in possession of the book. Because they do not want it to look like the start of a territory battle between Staz and Wolf, they decide to call upon the Chicken Brother, the fastest transportation in the demon world. Though they run fast, they are very slow at counting money. And after they finish counting their pay, the Chicken Brothers take Staz, Fuyumi, and Mame. Baru can simply transport with magic to the Western Territory. During the ride, Staz orders Mame to use his third eye to navigate a path to Wolf with the least amount of run-ins with the others. However, Mame quickly realizes that at the speed they are going, they will run head into Wolf and his two companions. Wolf and company, who soon see the carriage approaching, also realize they are on a collision course. Despite this, Wolf calmly uses his brute strength to slice the carriage in half, but fortunately without any injuries to the passengers. After quick introductions from the two longtime friends, Staz learns that Wolf does not have the book. Instead, he asks Wolf to aid him using his influence over the territory. But to do this, Staz will have to win a competition between himself and Wolf. After hearing this, Fuyumi is worried about the outcome, seeing as she was decided as the prize if Staz loses. However, Staz coolly explains that the competition will be a bowling match, and with his magic that can affect things at distance, he will be able to control the ball to his liking. They then go to begin the match with Wolf, and he realizes that Staz misheard and the competition is actually boxing. Because of Wolf's physical magic affecting his strength, Wolf is at a clear advantage. The match soon begins and Staz is quickly showing signs of losing. After a few minutes of getting beaten up, something happens to Wolf that causes him to become fatigued. Earlier in the match, Staz had grabbed onto Wolf and used this chance to bite Wolf, leaving a tooth pierced in his skin. During the whole match so far, Staz has been using magic to drain Wolf's magic itself. In a turn of events, Staz easily begins to take the lead, and with this, Wolf is forced to turn into his half-werewolf form. Because Wolf is only half-werewolf, he is not able to fully convert, and instead gains a large snout and tail, along with slightly larger muscles. As this happens, Wolf begins to taunt Staz. Staz still heavily relies on his magic and abilities. With this, Staz becomes increasingly angry and almost kills Wolf, but stops due to a strong slap from Fuyumi. As Fuyumi begins to cry due to the two friends' fight, Baru suddenly jumps in and transports Staz, Wolf, and Fuyumi to what seems like an abandoned warehouse, using the boxing ring as a frame. While there, the three begin talking and soon realize Baru was the only one who changed the bowling match into a boxing match. And after informing Wolf how Staz would cheat, Baru then appears after transporting Wolf's two companions and Mame alongside him, and refuses to tell them why she's manipulating them, but as compensation gifts the three the Book of Resurrection. After he gets his hands on the book, Staz opens it and they all start to read it, but there's one problem. None of them can understand a word of it. It's not because they cannot read it, but because the whole book is written in a huge word-based anagram and said by Mame. In other words, even if they knew how to decipher it, it would be an excessive amount of time. So they decide to just go and ask the person who wrote it himself. The author, however, is someone Staz does not get along with, Staz Charlie Blood, her brother. The Demon World Acropolis is a highly prestigious residence only for demon kings who have conquered every territory. This place is where the kings watch the territories form and where rules and laws are made. It is also where Staz Charlie Blood, the older brother of Staz, resides. In order to question him about the human resurrection, Staz will have to travel there. To get there, Wolf suggests using a Baru's magic. Though she is hesitant with this idea, Wolf coolly gets her to agree. As the others talk about Staz's quest, Baru opens up a portal. However, getting angry with him, Wolf pushes Staz through the portal before Baru is finished, setting its coordinates. Because of this, Staz is sent to Baru's room instead of the demon world Acropolis. At first, Baru is upset, but then sees her opportunity in him going there, and the two depart, leaving Wolf, Fuyumi, and Mame to their own devices. Once in her surprisingly girly room, Staz takes a shower, and afterwards Baru does also, leaving Staz alone in her room. As she bathes, Baru spies on what he's doing, but it's nothing more than fidgeting. When she returns, she questions Staz about his magic ability. She described seeing it as something spilling out of a sealed chest. Staz then begins to tell her the story of his past with his brother and his magic. When he was younger, Staz was constantly tortured by his older brother Braz, supposedly so that he could unleash Staz for magical potential. But in reality, according to Staz, it was in an attempt to kill him. No matter the situation Staz was put in, he always seemed to live. Braz supposedly had an obsession with killing Staz, and constantly put all of his research into creating different potions and devices to test on Staz. Though in the end, Braz did not end up killing him. As a substitute, he created a bullet that would seal away his magic after being lodged in his heart. For this reason, the bullet is still inside Staz, and it continues to prohibit the use of his full power. After hearing this, because of the treasure hunter inside of her, Baru is instantly captivated with the idea of unsealing the magic, and says she wants Staz to additionally ask Braz to remove the bullet when he goes to meet him. Staz agrees without much commitment. However, Baru and Staz get into a small spat due to Staz's fascination with Baru's phone, and they decide to fight to see who's really more powerful. Baru brings Staz to the grid room she has, which she uses to teleport often. She sets it up so that there are no exits and says that she will have Staz admit defeat without any physical fighting. Soon, Staz gets bored and realizes there's nothing he can do, and he quickly admits defeat. However, he says as soon as he receives his full power, he will follow Baru around until he can steal her power and beat her. Baru then treats Staz to some real sushi. While he eats, Baru thinks about how she is beginning to get a crush on Staz and tries to keep herself from falling for him until he is more powerful. During this time, Staz finally traveled to the Blood Estate on the demon world Acropolis. Though he attempts to sneak in, he is quickly found by the prison warden, his younger sister, Liz T. Blood. Due to a long-time hatred of Staz, after he ran away, she quickly uses her axe to impose a judgment impact on him, and Staz is sent into a cell in Liz's prison, nicknamed Liz's Toy Box. Inside the cell, Staz notices a button and he is tricked by the other inmates to press it. He has initiated a challenge, and he is sent to attempt to defeat 2 zombies in order to gain his freedom from the prison. And that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, like and subscribe for more videos like this. I'll see you on the next video.